Everton 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. It's a huge win, a huge 3 points to the Wolves as well. In a game that was by no means a classic. It was a really poor performance by Wolves, but Everton will be really disappointed, I think, as well, because they probably felt they should have got something out of this game. But Sasa Kalajdzic, that's what we're talking about. That's the impact that we need of players coming off the bench, and we've done enough. At the end of the day, we come home with the 3 points, but still lots of work for Gary O'Neill to address this week ahead of Crystal Palace next week. But quickly, we'll look at the team that Wolves started with. A couple of changes from the team last week that lost out to Brighton. Jose Sarr in goal, Semedo, Kilman, Dawson and Bueno across the back. João Gomez and Lamina in the midfield, with Juan coming in, Neto, Cunha and Fabio Silva keeping his place as well. First half was very, very poor. Wolves second to everything. Really just sloppy in possession and just didn't have a lot going for us. 0 shots on target in the first half of Wolves, and in terms of an attacking performance, completely different from the first 2 games of the season against Manchester United, against Brighton, where we were creating lots of opportunities, not necessarily putting the ball in the back of the net, but definitely threatening the opposition. But it was almost at times that both teams, rather than going for the win, were just very, very cautious. Obviously, Wolves and Everton going into this game, pointless. Everton goalless. It just seemed like both teams were a little bit nervous, and it just needed that little bit of magic or somebody to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And it didn't really happen throughout the whole 90 minutes, really. And I was hoping that Gary O'Neill could, give the lads a talking to, and he'd come out in the second half much better. Obviously, that didn't quite work out last week, because the first 10 minutes of the second half was atrocious against Brighton. But, I'm not going to say, it was a Jekyll and Hyde performance, but Wolves were definitely improved in the second half, created some opportunities. Fabio Silva, again, like he did last week, had the ball in the back of the net, but again, the flag was up for offside, and this one was a lot tighter. He was unlucky, really. Beautiful ball in by Hugo Bueno, and Fabio just sort of guided it into the far post, and he's so unlucky that he was just a couple of inches offside. But after that, he had a golden opportunity, and it was almost a carbon copy of the opportunity in terms of, positioning and distance that he had against Brighton. Ball this time was from a defender. I think it was an underhit pass. Pickford was coming for it, then went back towards his line. And Fabio, for me, has got to put this ball in the back of the net, and he ends up putting it wide. He doesn't even test Jordan Pickford, and I think Fabio will be really disappointed with that. I think it is just one of those things which comes down to confidence, and I know people will get on his back for that. But the positive for me is that he's finding himself in these positions. If Fabio was completely out of the game, he wasn't even creating chances or having opportunities, I'd be a lot more worried. But he's getting into the right sort of areas. I don't know, the finish has got to be better, but can he have a bit more confidence in himself to possibly round Pickford, take it onto his left and curl it in that way? I don't know, but I think Fabio will be disappointed that he missed that chance. And we had a real scare just shortly after that, where Everton actually had the ball in the back of the net, and I thought this was going to be a goal. Nice little piece of play on the right-hand side by Everton, and finds Decore through a little fake, and he rolls it past Jose Sarr, and fortunately he was just offside Decore. I mentioned Jose Sarr there, though. I've got to say, what a fantastic performance by him. And I don't know if there's any man of the match votes, but for me, the man of the match probably would be Jose Sarr. He kept us in the game at times. And the one save, if you didn't manage to catch the game, I hope they put this on the highlights. A fantastic save. The ball comes in deep from Everton, a back post header. And as Jose Sarr's backpedaling to reposition himself, he almost loses his balance. The header is bounced against the ground, and Sarr somehow tips it over the bar off balance. It's a really good stop. And he made a string of double and triple saves 2 or 3 times throughout the game. And a really positive performance. We talked about him a lot on the podcast. I spoke about him on the preview. I know Jordan on the podcast says he wouldn't be against dropping Sarr after his first 2 performances of the season, or people replying to the preview saying the same thing. But, O'Neill's kept his trust in Sarr. At the end of the day, he's the number one, and he does the business. And Wolves make the changes. I thought we saw Fabio come off fairly, well into the second half for Sarabia. So Cunha had that role as the number 9 going into the dying embers of the game. We actually saw Aït-Nouri come on for Hwang at half time as well. So we're playing both Aït-Nouri and Bueno, which I'm not completely against. I think Aït-Nouri can play further forward. He can be a menace at times in and around the area. He played there under Lopetegui a lot during pre-season as well. And I think Bueno and Aït-Nouri both deserve to get minutes. And I thought they worked quite well at times on the left-hand side. Some good combination play. Neto had a really frustrating game for me. There were times where he picked up some great positions. And it just, for Neto, I don't know what it is. It's that just final decision making, whether it's his final touch or that final ball into the area. But I tell you now, the one time he had to get it right, he did. And that's when Sasa Kalajdzic comes off the bench and within minutes gets himself into the area. And all you need to do when you've got somebody that's 6'6" or 6'7" is put the ball into the box. And Pedro Neto on the right-hand side gets it back onto his left foot, crosses it in towards goal. And all Sacha's got to do is put his head on it, just help it into the area. And he does that past Jordan Pickford right towards the end of the game. And Sasha gets his first goal in Wolves colours, and well deserved. Unbelievable. This lad, 45 minutes into his Wolves career, an injury that would really scare anyone, not confident out of anyone. He's worked himself back up, and the first opportunity he gets at putting the ball in the back of the net, he does it. And that he could be a real asset for Wolves. I'm not going to say he's going to be a 20-goal-a-season striker, but whether he starts games or starts coming off the bench, if he can have that sort of impact, that is going to be absolutely massive for Wolves. And I know a lot of Wolves fans are disappointed with some of the transfers coming in at the club at the moment. But you forget this is an almost £20 million striker that unfortunately was out last season. And to use the old cliche, he's going to be like a new signing for Wolves if he can stay fit. And I'm so glad that he came on and gets the 3 points to Wolves. Look, it was a disappointing performance. We can't let this result paper over the cracks. But at the end of the day, when we know we're not going to be fighting for Europe this season, we're probably going to be in and around that bottom half. A win is a win. And 3 points are 3 points to Wolves. And it's 3 points or a point taken off Everton, who now have a lot of pressure going into next week. But Wolves are off the mark. That's the hardest bit for Wolves. A result next week against Crystal Palace would be fantastic, but a win away is always nice. Everton 0, Wolves 1, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you think I missed anything out of the game, do let me know. But a really solid performance from Wolves. And yeah, we'll take that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. I'll catch you all very soon.